Hello, party people. I'm still a little anxious making these, but I hope you bear with me because I have another topic that I'd like to talk about here, and it's about my favorite manga. Once again, it's about Claymore. And today, as the title may have, um, the title may have warned you, I'm going to be talking about how the Battle of Pieta in the anime was thoroughly um, ruined. So it was sufficiently ruined by just how poorly the anime handled it. But before we get into that, I'm going to play a little thing, and this is from a YouTube channel called Pandora Journey. It's a music channel, and they play a lot of really great epic music, and their compilations are very fantastic, and they really do scout out some the best in epic music. That I'm an enthusiast myself. I'm not being paid. I swear, it's not my like cousin or something running it. I just honestly enjoy it, and I want to credit them. And this is a song, and it's from a composer called Arne Anderson, and it's called. I'm not going to tell you what it's called actually. I'm just going to play it a good 20 seconds of it, and then I'll get back to my video here. And try to visualize. Kind of ask yourself what this stuff is telling me right now. Okay, you should have the idea. Um, and I played that because I was listening to Pandora Journey, one of their mixes, and I'm not quite sure if it's a girl or a guy to be honest, but I was listening to one of their mixes, and I remember closing my eyes when this song came on and thinking, I have experienced this before, and not through music. I have experienced this feeling before, and I got the vision of a story I had written when I was younger, when I was in high school. I was writing a fan fiction for Trinity Blood. Um, it wasn't a very good fan fiction, but it was the only one for Trinity Blood, so people kind of had to bear with me and read it. And I remember one of the things I told myself before I wrote this fan fiction was that I wanted there to be a battle in the snow where a detachment of soldiers went into this snowy blizzard, kind of like inhospitable blizzard area, and then they would be ambushed out in the snow and slaughtered there, and that they would be quality soldiers, but there'd be nothing that they could do. They just out of the fog of the blizzard, the enemies would come pouring out, and they would just cut everyone to pieces. And when I heard that song, I thought, that's it. This is the musical equivalent of that snow scene that I wanted to write. And when I actually checked out the Pandora video of this song, I actually found that the picture they chose was a girl in the snow. She was wearing armor, and she was in the snow, looking wary, looking kind of, beaten down a bit. And the name of the track itself was called Annihilation. And I thought to myself, my God, just hearing this, like through hearing this, like a kind of form of strange artistic osmosis, communicated to me this snowy, this loss, this slaughter in the snow. And I and I looked and I saw the portrait, and what is the song? It's called Annihilation. It's the portrait is a girl in the snow. It is an annihilation in the snow. It came right back to me, and I connected to the channel, and I connected to Arn Anderson in that moment in experiencing that. And I well, I had come up with this idea for Pieta before or not Pieta. I had come up with this idea for the Snow Massacre before I had actually read or watched the Claymore Pieta sequence. And you can draw a bunch of historical parallels, like when the Nazis tried to push into Russia, and they were ground down like into dust in Stalingrad. Or you could also think about um, the Roman attempts into Scotland, or it's just this idea of you've reached the limit, right, of your civilization. And I think that's what was happening in Claymore. It was the squadron was sent north, and they were sent there. It was doomed. They were going to be destroyed by the forces of chaos outside of their domain. And that, thematically speaking, was the entire reason for them to go to Pieta, was to confront chaos and to be overrun by it. And I was very excited when Pieta came. Um, and the anime ending for Pieta was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Because you're marching to the far ends of your empire, right? So your people have sent you there, and you're going out there to bear the standard for your empire, and that takes diligence. It takes discipline. It takes professionality of a high measure. And the Claymores showed that. Most of them didn't think they had a shot, and they all fought. That's incredible. You need to understand. Most armies, even when they're in high spirits, even when they think they're going to win, most armies do not fight at 100% combat effectiveness. Like they did a study, the military commissioned a study where they realized that most soldiers in the heat of battle couldn't actually bring themselves to shoot at the enemy. And so they started training with, instead of having them shoot bullseyes in training, they had them shoot human cutouts, because you could actually reduce the number of people who wouldn't engage the enemy a certain fraction by doing so. But a lot of your people simply will not kill. And in Pieta, it wasn't an ideal situation. It wasn't like we're totally gonna win. It was doomed. And most of the Claymores knew it. Well, those who had any sense knew it. And they could sense it, too, given their powers. And they didn't flee. None of the Claymores turned tail. And that's incredible. It may be a testament to just how terrified they were of the organization, but to me it was discipline, just extreme discipline. And that's also one of the subplots of Claymore. Like, that's the reason why the males could not be made Claymores, because they lacked a certain amount of discipline. And so these female warriors going up, these are the most disciplined warriors, and they're going and they're facing their hated enemy, and they're being slaughtered. And Claire's there, and she loses her comrades to the enemy. Like, she's locked in a fight with the enemy, and she is losing her comrades. They are being slaughtered, ripped apart, and she's extremely traumatized. She's hurt, and she's angry, and she's all of these things, and she's really wrapped in, like, when you're in a fight, you go berserk. I don't know if any of you know the phrase "go seeing red," but you hit a certain level of berserk where you just You know who is hurting you. You know who is hurting your friends. You know they're the enemy, and you just, there is nothing else except for your embodiment of their destruction. There is nothing else except for the action of you removing them. And you don't care. You're a soldier and your people are dying. They're being taken from you. With the same rage that you feel yourself. This isn't a time for you to sit back and think, hey, they have friends, they have families. Those awakened beings might be cool guys. It isn't the fucking time for that. Okay? And the anime decided that, I think they decided that Priscilla, because she was this innocent girl, right? Quote unquote. I think the anime decided that she was innocent, and that, and they also did, they focused quite heavily on her nakedness and and how cool Isley was, and I think they lost themselves a bit, and they were like, hey, you know what? We like Priscilla. Priscilla's a innocent little girl. She ain't got no responsibility. She don't need no consequences. She hasn't she hasn't put herself into a battle against the Claymores, and she hasn't cut out their heart and soul with Teresa. She hasn't done any of these things. Claire has no real reason to kill her. And they bring out Rocky, who is probably one of the most hated people in the Claymore anime. And Rocky is this instrument to get Claire not to kill Priscilla. And I need everyone to just kind of think about just what a fucking bizarre move that is. For a group of soldiers to go out into the snow and then and get near to annihilated, and then have one lone soldier alive, right? It's like it's almost, this is reading like the Berserk manga after Eclipse. Except when he sees Griffith, after Griffith has raped his lover, his girlfriend, or perhaps imagine you were a soldier in an army and you watched all your friends shredded in front of you, and you see somebody and you think, there they are. That's the embodiment. That is the avatar of these wretched demons that have killed my friends, my comrades. And you run at them, and your little brother throws himself in between you and the enemy army, and he goes, no, the enemy army is a cute little girl. You can't do that. Tell me you wouldn't kill your little brother and them in a single sweep of your blade. Tell me you wouldn't. I would, in a fucking heartbeat. In a fucking heartbeat. Even if I knew Isley would cut me down the instant after, I would throw myself at that. Because I think I could win. And that's even the more ridiculous thing. The fact that Claire even stands a fucking shot against Priscilla at this point. She shouldn't. That's absurd. Claire has not undergone the transformation and the processes required for her to face out. Like, Priscilla isn't just a person. Priscilla is an incarnation of evil in the Claymore world. And you don't kill the devil until Judgment Day. Do you know what I'm saying? And Pieta was not Judgment Day. Pieta is one of those things where it's a necessary sacrifice that needs to be made. And that's a deep wound in there. And you don't just get wounded deeply and then turn around and fling yourself at the devil and kill them. That's so fucking stupid. And then forgive the devil. That compounds stupidity with a certain philosophical malpractice that just gets under my skin and makes me want to vomit. I swear to God, it's so fucking shitty. And I just couldn't stomach it. I hated Raki and I hated everything. And then when I saw the manga and I saw that Claire doesn't actually confront Priscilla. I It got to a point where the people who made that anime and made that filler ending, um, I hate them. I just hate them as humans, and I don't think like you could tell me, oh yeah, the same people made Jormungand because I love Jormungand. Instead of being like, oh, maybe they did something I didn't really know about in that Claymore filler ending. I'd be like, I hate Jormungand too now. That would be my response. I'd be like, I fucking hate Jormungand too now.